Hello again and welcome or welcome back. Now, we've always been taught that meekness is a synonym for weakness. We think of a doormat, someone who has no backbone, someone who just lets the world walk all over them. But if that's true, why does the Bible tell us that it's actually the meek who are the ones who inherit the earth? Why would God give the earth to the weak? Today, I want to reclaim a word that has been stripped of its power. Now, we're talking about praus, P-A-R-A-U-T-E-S. It's Greek for biblical meekness. And I'm going to show you that it isn't the absence of power, it is the deliberate control of it. So, to understand what the original audience and the writers of the Septuagint understood by this word, look at David. He's in a cave. Saul, the king who is hunting him like an animal, walks into that very cave to rest. David has the power to end it. He has the sword. He has the opportunity. He has the divine mandate to be the next king. David could have killed Saul and claimed the throne right then. That would have been taking matters into his own hands, though. Instead, he cuts a corner of Saul's robe. That is praus, P-R-A-U-S. That is power under control. David refused to play God by forcing the outcome. He trusted that God was the one who placed him in the kingdom, and God would be the one to establish him there. He didn't need to fight a fleshly battle to secure a divine promise. Now, think about the Israelites who went up against the Canaanites against God's command. Why did they do that? Because they wanted to secure the land through their own military might. They wanted to force the victory. But God's consistent message was, I will fight for you. The people who truly understood meekness weren't the ones waiting passively. They were the ones who were so confident in the king's reign that they didn't have to scramble to force their own way. They understood that the land and the promise was already theirs by covenant. They didn't have to conquer it, they had to inhabit it. Fast forward to the New Testament, we see this manifested perfectly in Jesus. In Matthew 26:53, Jesus is being arrested. He says, do you not think I cannot call on my Father, and he will at once put at my disposal more than 12 legions of angels? He had the power to dismantle the Roman Empire, the Jewish religious establishment, and the very ground beneath them. But he stayed his hand. He chose the cross. Why? Because he wasn't there to build an earthly kingdom by force. He was there to inhabit the Father's will. He was showing us that the true kingdom power is not about domination, it is about reconciliation. Jesus controlled his power to demonstrate God's grace. So what does this look like for us, the kingdom inhabitants? Living in the already inaugurated kingdom means we are no longer fighting for victory. We are acting from victory. When someone insults us or attacks our theology, that applies to me, you have the power to lash out. Proudness is the choice to pause. It's the realization that your identity is secure in Christ, so you don't need to defend yourself. You have the power to retaliate, but you choose to offer grace instead. When the world feels like it's falling apart, when news headlines scream for anxiety, the meek inhabitant stays calm. Not because we don't see the danger, but because we see the king. We control our anxiety because we know the throne is already occupied. In your workplace, in your family, or online, you can use your influence to dominate others, or you can use it to serve them. Proudness is choosing to use your influence to build up rather than tear down. So meekness isn't shrinking back, it is standing in the immense strength of a citizen of heaven and choosing deliberately, consistently to let that strength be filtered through love. You aren't waiting for a future rescue. You are ruling in the present right now. So don't be a person who forces outcomes out of fear. Be a person of power under control, demonstrating the nature of the king to a world that desperately needs to see what his kingdom actually looks like. So go now and inhabit your space. One last thought. When you look up meek from Matthew 5:5 in Blue Letter Bible, you get the following definition. It's G4239, mildness of disposition, gentleness of spirit, or meekness. Now, I'm going to put a broader explanation that follows that in Blue Letter Bible in the description. And when you're discussing this with others, you can share them and have them visit Blue Letter Bible. All right, I'm out.